Resource guarding is when your dog has an object, like a toy, maybe their food bowl. They can even resource guard places, like spots on the bed. And when somebody approaches them, while they have that resource, they guard it. They start off by growling, and then they bare their teeth, and they bark, and some can even be, pushed far enough to bite. Okay, so resource guarding from a dog standpoint, just from their a behavioral standpoint, keep in mind that for them being a dog, it is a normal behavior. A dog that resource guards, that's not something that is out of the usual. Particularly with multiple dogs. Dog to human, it's one thing, but dogs to dogs, it's very common, because if you were to put dogs out in the wild and one dog has food and another dog doesn't, whoever keeps that food is the one dog who gets to live. So if a dog were to try to take another dog's food away, they have to protect it. So resource guarding, in large part, is just a natural instinct that all dogs have. With that said, a dog that has a resource guarding problem, it can be very dangerous for humans. Okay, so resource guarding, it is a normal behavior, and it basically stems from fear. Resource guarding is the fear that I have something and you're going to take it away. So I have to protect it. Alright? Now, if you've seen the other fear video, resource guarding, we handle it sort of similar to how you would get a dog over fear, but there's also some things we want to do at the start for prevention. Okay? So preventing resource guarding is something that we want to work on the second we get our dog or puppy. And there's a lot of things that you can do. The first thing is the trade game. Now, the trade game is very important, and it's going to be something that you just get in the habit of doing with your dog at all times. Whenever you take something away from your dog, we always trade them for something of higher value. We want our dogs to see that, hey, when I get something taken away, it's a good thing, because I always get something better. We want to eliminate the fear of someone's going to take this away from me and I'm never going to get it back. So the trade game, essentially, you always have some treats on you, or some type of food, because food is the highest resource there is, which is why resource guarding tends to happen a lot with food bowls. So we start off, now this is prevention, okay? This is for dogs who don't have a severe resource guarding problem. We want to do things to prevent it. So what we do is we start trading the dog. The dog has a toy, we're playing with a toy, and we take the toy away, and in exchange, we give them a treat. And that's it. And that's the trade game. And that goes for any time you take something. If you have a puppy, and the puppy grabs something off the bed that he's not supposed to have, he's running around with a sock, and you get the sock away, you trade him. Alright? But you have to trade him instantly, because otherwise, we lose the connection of, you're giving me the sock, I'm giving you a treat, and we're making a trade. Now, maybe you think, if I'm giving him treats, I'm reinforcing him taking the sock. Well, no, because again, it goes back to the 2-second rule, that you're reinforcing whatever just happened. If your puppy has a sock and is running around the room for 10 minutes until you get him, and you trade him, you're reinforcing the trade. You're not reinforcing the fact that he took the sock. It's way past the point. Okay? So we want to get used to doing the trading game. Whenever you take something away from your dog, we always give them something of higher value. And it just teaches the dog that humans taking things away is okay. So there's a trade game, and there's one more, the food bowl game. And this is kind of similar to just trading, but it's a little different. So if your dog eats out of food bowls, which I don't recommend, I always feed dogs out of puzzle toys. I think it's a waste of food to put food into a bowl and let your dog wolf it down in 30 seconds. You put food into toys, 2 to 3 different toys, and now they have to work for their meals. It's mental stimulation, it's physical exercise, it's just a better way to feed your dog, better use of the food. If you do feed your dog from a food bowl, however, a game you can play is you go over, you pick up the food bowl, you take a piece of treat, a piece of chicken, hot dog, cheese, something very high value, you drop it in the food bowl and you just put it back down. And what your dog learns is that, hey, when my food bowl goes away, when humans approach my food bowl and they take it away, it always comes back with something better. And when you put that in there, it has to be something high value, carrots, chicken, some kind of treat that the dog really, really wants. So if you do this food bowl game, you want to use human food as a treat, not dog food, or dog treats rather, because it's not high enough of a reward. Okay, so these are some things for preventing resource guarding. Now, one thing I want to say is, there needs to be a kind of level of mutual respect between humans and the dogs. I think there is this unrealistic expectation that anybody should be able to go up to any dog and when the dog is eating, shove your hands in their food and put your face down there and the dog shouldn't react. And I don't think that's right, because you have to keep in mind, how would you feel if you were in that position? If you were trying to eat and somebody was coming and putting hands in your face and touching your bowl and getting in your face, you wouldn't like that either. So no dog shouldn't just attack people for walking by their food bowl. You should be able to approach a food bowl, walk by without an issue. But there is also a level where we need to let the dog be a dog and let the dog eat. There's really not a reason for us to go and have to have our hands in the dog's food bowl, okay? So just keep that in mind. So this is the first step of resource guarding for preventing the resource guarding. Now the second part of resource guarding is actually working with the dog who has a resource guarding issue and getting it to go away and lessening that behavior. So now we're going to work on the actual solution here, the fix for it. So what we're going to do is, the first thing is we need to figure out what is it the dog guards. Let's say for this example that your dog has a problem guarding toys. You give him a special bone and that is what he tends to guard. So the dog is over here with the bone, okay? And this is what he guards whenever somebody gets close to him. When somebody approaches and he has that, he starts to growl. If they get closer, he'll snap, and if they get really close, he will bite them. So what we want to do is we want to start off far away, where the dog can see us, okay? And when he sees us, while he has the bone, remember the dog is over here, that's his object that he's guarding. When the dog is over here, he can see us, but he is calm. He's under the threshold. But when I say under the threshold, I mean he's not in a zone where he's displaying one of those signs of growling, of air snapping, of actually biting. He's relaxed because we're far enough away. So what we're going to do is kind of a game. We're going to approach the dog, and as we approach him, we're going to have food. Again, something really high value. Chicken, cheese, hot dogs, vegetables like carrots. My dog loves carrots. Something really high value. And it's only going to get it when we work on the resource guarding issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk towards the dog. As we walk towards the dog is going to notice us. He's going to look up and look at us. We're going to find what that limit is. How close we can get before the dog starts to growl. Before the dog, that's usually the first sign, the dog's going to growl. That indicates he's starting to guard. So we start walking towards the dog and we get to about here and he starts to growl. That means we are a little too close. So what we're going to do instead now is take just a couple steps back, and this is our spot. This is the special spot that we start from. We walk up to the spot, we take a treat, again a piece of chicken, carrot, hot dog, something good, and we just throw it to the dog. We're not going to get any closer, we just throw it to him. After we throw the treat, then we walk away. And that's the game. Approach, throw the treat, walk away. Approach the dog, throw him a treat, walk away. Remember, resource guarding is the fear that you're going to go up to the dog and take their possession away, not give it back. So the first part of it is teaching the dog that humans approaching, when you have something of high value, such as a bone, a toy, whatever it is, if they're on your couch and they guard their spot on the couch, that when humans approach, we want it to be a good thing. So that's why we do this game. We walk towards the dog, before they react, while they're still under the threshold, we toss them a very high value treat, and then we walk away. We don't force this. We don't go past the point where they start to display the behaviors of resource guarding. Alright? So you do this game for about a week. And then after a week, you're now able to go from being at your spot here to a little closer. Now you can move up 5 feet, and your dog doesn't start growling till there, or doesn't start growling till one more step. Remember, we always want to keep him and do the treat game before he starts growling. So after a week or so, you move up a little bit. Same thing. You walk towards the dog, throw him the treat, and then you walk away. And we slowly build this up until eventually you're, right here, right in front of the dog, and you're tossing him treats, and then eventually you're able to reach down and trade him for whatever the object is. Okay? A large part of resource guarding is prevention, though. We want to do as much as we can to prevent this from a young, from a young age, or whenever we get the dog, because resource guarding is a natural instinct, yes, but the way we live with our dog and the things we do can definitely increase the chances of resource guarding popping up. Okay, so this is the main way to get our dog used to trading us. So if you have a dog with resource guarding, depending on how long this problem's been going on, depending on how severe it is, it's going to take different amounts of time. I have some people who have dogs with very, low levels of resource guarding. Within 2 to 3 weeks, we're able to take things away. I have people who have adopted dogs who have had a history of resource guarding for 3 to 4 years, and a year later we've made progress. We've gone from here to here, but we're still not at the dog. So don't feel like you're not making progress. Taking one step closer each week is progress. Okay, even one step closer every 2 weeks is progress. So this is something where you have to go slow, because every dog is different. That threshold for where the dog is going to react is going to be different for every dog. Okay, so this is everything for resource guarding. Have patience, go slow, and you'll be able to help your dog overcome this. So how's training dogs, and more specifically usually puppies? It's not a terribly difficult thing to do, but it does require a lot of consistency.